You're now listening to episode 13, Style of Play Football. As always, myself, Theo, Kojo, man. What you saying?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you, man. It's been a while.
It's been a while, man. It's been a while, man.
How you been?
Hibernating. I can't even put it any other way, man. Man's been hibernating like a little squirrel. I mean, just keeping myself to myself, like I said before. And just, yeah, man, just enjoyed the Christmas break. Detoxing now. Yeah, detoxing is good, man. I don't know if you do. I mean, don't know what your lifestyle's like, man. But my December was just drink, eat. Just literally eat and drink. So I thought, come January. Now I do dry January anyway. Like most years, I'll do like just a dry January. But I thought, let me extend it beyond January. Like, let me just do it forever, and let me just do it. And then when I want to go out for socialize, I'll have a little drink and then I'll just, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's been good though. It's been good, man. What you say, man? What's your break like? What was the Christmas period like? Busy one. Yeah. I'm sure.
No, it was calm, man. I masterfully managed to get myself to go to my brother's house for Christmas, so I didn't have to cook the damn thing.
Masterfully, you know.
So I somehow worked my way around that. All I had to do was travel. Other than that, yeah, man, great time. I don't drink, but what I do during Christmas is a Christmas tour. Yeah. So Christmas Day and Boxing Day is family, and then other people, we will chop their food as well and they come to the party. So I have been on the exercise regimen. So I have to get back into shape ASAP because I've got a couple of weddings, and I want to go to Canada and see some family soon as well. So yeah, man, I got to be in pinpoint condition.
I hear that, man. I hear that. The return of the fitness has to come back, man. But speaking of return of the fitness, obviously Ivan Toney back. I think he's been banned since May. I think he was banned in May last year. I think his last game was Liverpool. They lost 1-0 Brentford. Nah, I don't know, man. I feel with Ivan Toney, I think we spoke about him a couple of weeks back on here as well, but I feel like with Ivan Toney, I feel like he's getting a lot of criticism for things that, he made a lot of mistakes and no one's taking that away, But I feel like people are still penalising him for the mistakes that he's made, that he's owned up to eventually. He's served his punishment.
Yeah.
And then recently, yesterday, I think he done a Sky Sports interview and he said basically, I want to move to a bigger club. That's all he said. He didn't say like, I don't like Brentford and Brentford is shit, this, that, the other. He just basically said, I want to win a trophy. Here's an example, actually. Harry Kane said exactly the same thing. Yeah, I want to win something big. I want to win trophies. No one ever called him this and that, the other. But what's your thoughts on Ivan Toney coming back to the Premier League? Is he going to be able to hit the ground running? And is he going to be prolific as he was before?
I hope so. I mean, if you look at how he's looking since the ban, looks like he's still very much conditioned.
Yeah.
You mentioned that he did in one of his interviews, he's having like training regimens sent to him by Brentford, so they'd be keeping him in tip-top shape. He's been able to train at home. Obviously, when he was allowed to train with the squad and the club again, he was active in that as well, so he's done well. I'm excited to see what he does because there's a lot of pressure on him, but in a good way. You're wanted by the clubs. So there's an open window there to go out there and impress again and say, here I am. I haven't lost a step. You can buy me. I will say this. I think he's been, people might think I'm wrong here, but I think he's been respectful to Brentford in the way that he says, look, of course, a big move is, who wouldn't want that? But only if they pay what the club wants. So he's not going to Brentford or he's saying out there saying, I'm out of this club. Get me out of here. He's saying, look, if you come for me, you got to come respectfully to my club and say, this is what they want. You're going to give it to me. And that's it. So I think that's fair. But we'll see what he does. They haven't produced enough goals since he's been gone.
Yeah.
So he's clearly been a big miss. Rissa has done okay. And Mbeumo does Mbeumo. He's good. But yeah, when you miss your pure number 9 striker, it's different. But I think the difference between him and Harry Kane is Harry Kane was doing it in the Premier League from like 24 onwards and scoring a ridiculous amount of goals and just not getting any accolades. So I think that's why when Kane was saying it, I want other reasons, but I think when Kane says it, it's like, well, they're definitely world class. So you should be winning stuff. Some of your quality and not winning one trophy is weird. So that's the difference. But let's see what he does, man. Let's see what he does. There's a lot of pressure.
But don't you think with that as well, that being said though, don't you think that even though Harry Kane is world class, but shouldn't every footballer have that mindset of wanting to move to a bigger club? Like, to an extent, do you know what I mean? Like, they should want to move to a club where, Brentford 16th in the league, I think. They're not doing as well as they were last season. I don't think he gets the move from me personally. I don't think he gets it in January, and I'd be surprised come the summer. Because I think when I remember Thomas Frank talking on Sky Monday Night Football, and he said like, "Oh, it's basically going to be 100 million. That's what the owners want for Ivan Toney." Now they can do that because, to be fair, he's under contract, and they don't necessarily want to sell him. And if the club ain't coughing up the 100 mil, he ain't going anywhere. But I think every footballer should have that like mindset of wanting to move to a bigger club, win trophies. Like, I don't think he should be wrong for saying that. I just think he's got to come back now and put the proof in, or the work in, that he wants to move. He's got to put the work in to prove to clubs that, yeah, I've had this ban, I've been keeping in shape, but I'm actually worthy of the 100 million. Like, pay for me to come to Arsenal, whoever. Do you know what I mean? Pay for me and I'll do the business. Do you know what I'm saying?
To be honest, yeah, I do hear you. The window is small for him. The one luxury that him and Brentford have is that there are not many pure number 9s that you rate in football today. Obviously, they're old school, or no, in the old school, we grew up watching an abundance of strikers where even if you didn't have a Ruud van Nistelrooy or a Thierry Henry or Bergkamp or whoever, the next in line was like a Hasselbank, who is still an elite finisher, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different, and that's Shearer, you know how it goes. So in this era where people are like, "Oh, I need a number 9, but where do I find him?" He's one of few that are highly, highly rated. So that is the luxury. But no, I agree. His window's tiny, man.
And his age as well. His age. Don't forget, he's 27. So yeah, you're paying 100 mil. I know Harry Kane's just gone. He's older. I get that. But you just said he's world class. But when you're 27, approaching 28, you haven't really proven, like, you can play in the Premier League, you're proving that you can score goals, and I still think he's a really good striker. But there's a massive difference between being a really good striker and then being world class. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's a massive difference. So that's a massive gamble for someone like Arsenal, or I keep saying Arsenal because they're the ones that are heavily linked with him, but a club to come in and pay that for him.
Would you want him at Chelsea?
No, I did originally, and then when I started sitting down, I thought, yeah, he's a good striker in the Premier League, but you know what? And he would suit our team, I think. But for the money that we're paying for him, I think there's other options. Like, I think there's options out there, younger players. I think we should just be looking for them. I think we should be looking for and to be fair, I don't even think we could. I think for us at the moment, our system is that the way that we've been playing this season is mad. So I think you could bring in anyone. I think they'd still struggle in front of goal, to be fair. Like, we create so many chances, we just don't take them. So maybe bringing in a Toney would help us, but there's no guarantee of that. For 100 million, you kind of want assurances that he's going to be scoring at least 15 to 20 goals. Like, that's just the minimum that I want for 100 million striker. You have to do that. If you can't do that, then what's your purpose? Like, why are you in the team? We got Nkunku can score 10 goals. Cole Palmer can score 7-8 goals. Like, if you can score 7-8 goals and you're 100 million, then to me, you failed the mission. Like, you failed completely.
Yeah.
Would you take him? I mean, if you didn't have Højlund, would you take him? Even with or without, even without him, actually, to forget Rasmus Højlund.
To be honest, it's a weird one, because with Man United, I don't think we create or have enough creators around to give a striker like him supply. Højlund, if we're looking at him, he was getting criticised by Man United fans for being physical and not making runs in behind, but that's only kind of what he was getting. But when he showed, when you get him in position and let him running behind, he's dangerous.
Yeah, of course.
Truth be told, though, I'm not gonna lie to you, 100 million for Toney for me is too much. Even before the ban, for me, he's a 50 million player. I'm not paying nowhere near 100.
Yeah. And it's crazy. So it's crazy. It's crazy because we've just valued Armando Broja for 50 million as well.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, so the market's just a mess because you've got players that are not that level. They're not. Broja is not a 50 million pound striker. The reason they've done that, I think, is because of Højlund. Apparently, they've done it because they valued Højlund at, what is he, 65 million? You paid for him all 72. I know.
You don't mind that overpaid. So
exactly my point, man.
It's a bit crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. So.
Right.
But I agree with you that I think Tony, for me, I want to see him at a top club, but I want to see him without that pressure of 100 million around his neck. Do you know what I mean? I want to see him go to a club. There's nothing to say he can't do another stepping stone. There's nothing to say he can't go to like another club or go another place in Europe and then come back to England, you know?
Yeah.
As well. Do you know what I mean? I know he's 27, 28, but he could still do that for another 2 or 3 seasons or 2 seasons somewhere and then come back and just bag in the Premier League for 3 seasons, 34 years of age, still bagging goals. Like, that's, if it was me personally, that's what I would do. Because I think if he goes to like a Liverpool, or he wouldn't go there, but like an Arsenal, Chelsea, I'm trying to think of where else he could go. Like Newcastle don't really need him. They got Isak there, unless he wants to play second fiddle. Does he really want to return to Newcastle? Then you look at Spurs.
It's Arsenal or Tottenham. It has to be.
But then Spurs, I don't know, man. I don't know if you would. I don't know. I don't know. To me personally, I think Spurs are doing well without. They just brought in Timo Werner as well. I think they're doing okay without like the Harry Kane, you know, we've got to get a goal. Like they get goals, they're fine. I think they just defensively they've been a bit shaky at times. But I think if I was Ivan Toney, I wouldn't force the move. I don't think he will. But at the same time as well, I want to see him at a club where he wins something because I think he deserves that. In my opinion, anyway. But
we'll see.
I don't know, man. But let's talk about the Saudi League, man, because the Saudi League is moving a bit crazy at the moment. I can't even lie. I can't lie, man. You know what was mad when I read about Jordan Henderson moving to the Saudi League. You know something ain't gonna work, but you see something wrong, you think, fuck it, I'll just leave it anyway. What will be. Yeah. I knew it wasn't gonna work for him because I think he was like forcing the move. He knew that he wasn't going to be at Liverpool for much longer because Klopp kind of told him, you're out of favour, you wasn't playing well, the fans weren't really happy with him, you're the captain, but you're not really the captain, I'm subbing you off every game. That's telling you already that you're not in the manager's plans already.
Yeah.
When you went there, I feel like obviously a lot of players went there for the money. Like, and we said on here before, I'm glad that players came out and just said, like Kante came out and said, yeah, of course I went for the money. Like, what do you think I'm going over there for? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. One of the reasons, not the be all and end all. But for Henderson, he didn't have to go there. Like, he's not short of money. And do you get what I'm saying?
What was the excuse that he made? Not excuse, I guess the reason that he gave rather than excuse was obviously, I think, of all the clubs that offered him a contract or offered to get him, they guarantee. Naturally, yes. When you go to the Saudi League and you are coming from the Premier League and you have won with Liverpool, you're the former captain, they're going to give you a starting berth. They're probably going to give you an armband, which they did. And I believe, am I the right club in saying Gerrard was his manager? Is that the right club? I'm trying to remember.
I think so. I think so.
Whichever way it is, regardless of whether it's Gerrard or not, I think it was
Gerrard. I think you're right.
Yeah. But even if it's Gerrard or not, he's starting. He's an experienced Premier League player. So it's the same as anyone that came from La Liga, anyone that came from Serie A. You know, you're going there to play in the Saudi League, you're going to be a starter. But just like you, man, I felt like this is a project that's just not going to work for him. I don't think he's the kind of player that can adapt and live in Saudi Arabia. I don't think he's the type of player that would enjoy playing in the league that talks about being competitive but doesn't have a competitive edge about it. And 3, more than anything, just like a lot of players in a lot of those clubs right now, you don't even get enough attendance to really enjoy an atmosphere around you. It counts for something. There's only 2 clubs that get atmosphere, and they're the clubs that Ronaldo and Benzema play for.
Yeah, Portia.
Other than that, yeah, exactly. Naturally, because they're the biggest names. Other than that, no one else gets a sniff. So I don't know. It was a bad move waiting to happen, and of course, you had the LGBTQ plus committee as well on his neck because saying you're a supporter, but you're going to go and play there. And he was saying, I can go there and also try and work on the inside and promote what we're doing. But let's be real, that was never going to happen. That was never going to happen. You're not going to change a country through football or something like that. It's just not going to happen. So Nice idea, but come back home. We're going to Ajax, which I think is, by the way, I'm embarrassed by Ajax by that, by the way. Very embarrassed.
It's mad though as well, because I think a lot of what you said is true. And then it's not just him. It's like he's moved his family there. He's moved his 3 kids there. So they got to all climatize, understand the language. It's a massive adapt for them. They got to change quickly, like rapidly as well. And I think I can only imagine what that must be like to just up and leave everything that you're used to for so long. And then to go to a different country where you don't know anything really. And do you know what I mean? It must be mad for them. But then when you're on 350, I think it was 350 a week he was on, something stupid like that. So if you're on 350 grand a week, like, it just shows where, like, because he was all about the image. If you remember, I'm the image person and I want to do right for the world and all these stupid things. But as soon as the money was dangled in front of him, like, he was like, okay, I'll take the money. I'll take the money. Forget all these people all these human rights things. I'll forget about all that because I'm getting paid 350 grand a week. But from what I'm reading, he shot himself in the foot completely, because I think he's had to like defer some of his wages and he's not being paid for the 6 months that he's been there. There's loads of like technicalities because of how the deal was done. And I think because it's an early termination of contract as well, I don't think he gets paid his wages or something like that. And I think he still might owe bonuses as well when he plays for Ajax. So if he hits certain milestones, I think he's going to also have to pay back some money that he's already been given or something like that. I haven't read into it completely, but it just shows that like the grass isn't always greener. Like there's certain players over there. Like, I know N'Golo Kante, I know he's probably enjoying his football. I just know it because he's probably gone over there. He's won pretty much everything I think he can win. So I think so is Jordan Henderson, but he's won everything he's done. I think he's slightly younger than Henderson as well. And I think he'll relate more to the culture over there as well. Like, we got to put that bit in. The culture over where they are in Saudi Arabia is something that I think N'Golo Kante might be able to resonate with a bit more than Jordan Henderson, who doesn't really have any real connections to that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So to me, it was just, what are you over there for? Do you know what I mean? You could have bagged you could have gone to Sunderland. Let's be real. Sunderland, if his agent rang Sunderland and said, look, I got Jordan Henderson, or not even that's a bit of a disrespect to him, but even like a championship team for now, do you know what I mean? Or a team that had just been promoted, Luton. You look at Ross Barkley, like he just went there and look at him, he's flying for Luton. So if you go to a club like that, you could have still got a decent amount of money and I don't want to like disrespect their league in Saudi Arabia, but a level of football that he felt was good enough for him. Because clearly the football over there, I've watched some of the games, it ain't that good.
It's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous.
It's not that good. Like, without the main people, without the Ronaldos and the Benzemas and this and that, it ain't that good football. But it's still on the up as well. So a lot of people are saying, oh, it's like China, where China was paying Hulk this money and Oscar was getting paid this. I don't think it's that. I just think that this is where it's going to separate the people that went over there for greed and who people actually went over there to try and make the football better and enjoying their life over there. Some people want to actually enjoy the lifestyle that it comes with as well. Do you think that this is a massive crossroads for Saudi, the Saudi league in terms of football? Do you think they've got anything to worry about in terms of the spotlight that has been on the league for the last, 18 months? Do you think this is now the time where people are going to just start trying to up and leave? Like, there's talk of Benzema wanting to leave. He's not going to train. And Mitrovic, I think, wants a loan move as well back into European football. Do you think that's going to be the thing now?
The issue, it could be. The issue that Saudi League and even China have, or had with China anyway, that MLS sort of still have, or used to have for sure, is when you are a name who's played in the top leagues, when you are, I guess, off season or a move is not working, they're going to demand a loan move back into European football.
Yep.
You're going to have to hold that. And you're going to have to take some substantial loss, whether you're paying wages for a player that's still not there, or you're losing out on merchandise because he's just not on your pitch anymore. You have to hold that. Saudi Arabia, for me, the idea at first was great. And I did say it's nowhere near like China to other people, because it looked like China at the beginning were just saying, I'm taking this.
Yeah.
Hulk was a big name because he was like scoring a lot of powerful shots in the Champions League, but he didn't have any sort of following behind him to the extent where you say we're signing a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a weird one. Whereas Saudi Arabia, they got Ronaldo straight away. So when you take Cristiano Ronaldo, that immediately has other players looking and thinking, okay, maybe this is nice. So you got even young players went there, Ruben Neves and all these guys there. But they need to be careful, because if it gets to a point where these players go on loan and they say they don't want to return, players will leave. Ronaldo doesn't need to leave. Ronaldo's done everything he's done. And no matter what happens, he's got his following. The money will keep coming in because he's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
No matter where he goes, the people will follow him.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It's just natural. But for the rest of you, could be trouble. So let's see what they do, man. I'm not sure how they recover if they lose maybe 5 high-profile players in the next 12 months. I'm not sure.
It'll be a tricky one if they do, because I don't even think it's a thing where, like, I don't think they're too bothered if they lose the key players. Do you know what I mean? I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm looking at it just from, but I don't think they were too, like, if they lose Ruben Neves, they lose Mitrovic, they lose Benzema, I don't know. I think there's enough money in there to entice other people down the line to go over there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel that maybe like in a couple of years, he probably won't do this, but maybe like a Harry Kane might go over there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They still have the money to be able to entice people. Like, they're paying people 350. I read the other day, actually, their third division, I feel like, was it 40,000 a week? They were offering like players like 40,000 a week at home, all these things.
Yeah.
That's like the third division, you know, like third division. Now I was thinking, let me just see if I can apply for this, because, do you know what I mean? Like, if I can go over there and fly myself back every 6 months, I'm calm in it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why do you think I'm back in the gym, man? I'm trying to get to the match. I mean,
but even like that, what I'm saying, like, the third tier football here ain't paying you 40 grand, 50 grand a week. It's just not happening. Do you know what I mean? So it just shows you that I don't think the money's just there for them. So I think they'll be fine, man. I think the league's okay. I just think people expected it. And when I say people, I don't mean me or you, but I think people just expected it to blow up and to be the Premier League. Like, the Premier League's been going since 92. It's still not even fully right now either. There's so many things that's wrong with the Premier League, but it's been going since 1992. So it's going to take time for the Saudi League, if anything, to get. Could take 10 years, 15, 20 years for it to get to the level of the Premier League. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't think there's any issue with them there. I think they'll be fine.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'm not worried yet, but I just want to see what happens now that the names are starting to get a bit unsettled. I just want to see how they deal with it, because you're not an attraction just yet. And the lack of numbers in the stadium alone, you don't even bring it to account now, the lack of numbers on the screens watching, unless you're watching Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, I don't know. It's a sticky one for them.
The only other thing as well, a lot of these players are on, like I said, I think Benzema, I feel like Benzema's on like millions a week. Like, I'm sure he's on something stupid. So the problem is that you're going to find clubs aren't going to be able to match the wages. They either have to take a massive wage cut, or they're going to end up, like in Jordan Henderson's case, they're going to end up owing the club that they're leaving a lot of money. So is it even beneficial financially for some of these players to leave, or just to stick it out? You know, if they were smart and they're smart agents, they probably wouldn't have signed, like, I think Henderson's deals for 3 years. He's 6 months into it. So like his deal's like messed up completely, because he's going to owe a lot of money to them over the next 2.5 years. If he leaves, I think he's having a medical today for Ajax. So when he leaves, he's going to owe a lot of money to them over the next 2.5 years, regardless whether do you know what I mean? So think before you sign these deals, man. What are you doing, man? How you signing a 3-year deal and you don't even know if you're going to like the place? But yeah, foolish people then.
Footballers don't think, man. I'll tell you something before we move on. I'll tell you something that I met one agent on LinkedIn. I matched with him. I've got about 50 agents in there, so no snitching. But he said this day and age right now in football, players don't think first about the environment. They just see financials and who else is going there. So if you see a link and you see the players looking at the money and their heads are a bit rattled despite playing in such a top league like the Premier League, take advantage and get your money, because agent's contract lasts 2 years. So within those 2 years, if you get one big move, you get your agent fee, millions of pounds in your account, and the player says, "Don't want you no more." You say, "Well, all right then. Well, we've done business. It's been great." But they don't think about it the way players used to think about it. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Very interesting.
Cutthroat, man, cutthroat. But let's move over to Italy. Let's take ourselves back from Saudi to Italy really quickly. Jose Mourinho, for me, top 3 manager. I can't even lie, actually. He's in my top 3. Easily top 3. Maybe I'm biased for the Chelsea purpose, but sacked by Roma, I think on Monday. I think it was early this week. He was sacked by Roma after getting them back into European contention. I think they won a Conference League with Roma. I think he got them to a final last season. I think it was in the Europa League final as well. So he's got them back in contention. He's been bringing some of the youth players through at Roma as well. Bit of a shock for you, do you reckon? Or do you reckon it was the time for because I think his contract was coming to an end anyway. I think his contract was coming to an end at the end of this season.
Yeah, but they've moved a bit too crazy for me.
Yeah, 100%.
He's been there, I think, 2 years so far, and he's won a European trophy and going to another shot at the European final.
Yeah.
That, if I'm being very honest, I know Mourinho does complain about referees a lot, and a lot of the time is a bit like calm down, but that final was a bit bogus against was it Sevilla they played against? Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit bogus for me. But 2 European finals, one won, one lost. And they're not far off the top 4 in Italy. They're 5 points off. They've been flirting with the position. They get closer, then they fall off, they get close. But if I'm being honest, if you look at the squad, players like Rui Patricio, who is not a bad goalkeeper, but he's not going to be the goalkeeper that takes you very far. Player like Dybala is fantastic, but Dybala's not fit 100% of the time. Lukaku has now become very much a hit and miss player in general. So even though he's had some players that have come in and they're good, the rest overall squad is not as strong as you want it to be. But regardless, he's worked with it. He's built a rapport with the squad and the fans. And the stuff coming out again, there's tension with the other players and stuff. Newsflash, in football, there's tension with players all the time. And all the time. It just becomes noise if your team is not winning. That's literally all it is. But he's not going to be able to drop a lot of these players because he hasn't got a big squad, and a lot of the other players are very young. You can't just throw them into the lines then and hope for the best. And Mourinho is not going to do that to a young player. His record of young players is very sketchy, but one thing I believe anyway, he doesn't do that because unless he believes the youngest player is that good that they can deal with the pressures of a week in, week out playing the top flight, he won't throw them in. So I think it's very premature and I think it's quite stupid. I don't know who they're going to bring in next.
That was going to be my question.
They have a tendency of bringing in these like guys they've had in the past that it didn't work out with in the first place. So who knows what they can do? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's about though. So hey man, that's a shout. I mean,
no, it's a shout. It's a shout.
Yeah, I don't know if he's looking for a job. Like that personally, at least he's been very careful, but it could be an avenue back in. I just think Roma have been a bit premature with this, and I think they'll regret it in the long run. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a strange one because I remember when they went years without like a trophy. Do you know what I mean? And he was able to bring them one. And I just think with Jose, he has a pattern of, you know, I'll stay at a club for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then I'll move on. It always seems to be the pattern that's been from, I can remember at Chelsea's first Chelsea, he's always had like the 2.5 years, then he moves on, then he has, do you know what I mean? Something happens. And I just feel that this is the same thing with this. I feel you're right though. I feel that Roma, what are they, 9th? I think, like you said, sure they're 9th or something like that. And they're only like 5 points off like a European spot now. The only thing I can think of is that they've thought we need to try and salvage the season. He's going anyway at the end of the season. We need to try and pay him up now, which is what I'm sure they've done. Pay him up, try and bring someone in to get familiar with the team that they're going to obviously inherit from Mourinho, and then try and get them into European contention before the end of the season. That's the only thing I can think of why Roma would want to get rid of it. For me, still one of the best managers. Like he is. I'm not saying that I'm not saying he hasn't fell off, because he has. He's not. I don't think he would ever get another top job again. I don't think. But you know that he's going to get you goals. He's going to get you wins. He's going to get you something. Yeah. Every club he's been at, bar Spurs, he's always won something. Do you know what I mean? That's just the Mourinho way. It's hard. You get your little 1-0s. You scrape over the line with a victory. But that's how he plays football. That's just his way of doing it.
But that's the thing that I think clubs need to get used to. I think football, it's not to go on a rant about how football has panned out, but it works in a negative for someone like Mourinho, because just like any other manager, Mourinho wants an environment where he is given the license to succeed or fail, given that he's given the control to lead to one or the other. You don't want to go somewhere, do well, and then when you need something else, they're like, I don't know. And then it starts to fall apart, and then the blame's on you. Only manager that I know forever gets luxury is Pep. And Pep will always get that because everyone has sort of followed his way of looking at football. And just, it must be, you must pass from the back, and you must do inverted, and you must do that. And whether you want to do that or not, that's your call as a club. But you also have to recognize not every manager's Pep. Yeah, and the managers that have been able to stop Pep in the last 10 years or so in terms of winning a trophy or winning a league are literally Jose Mourinho and Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
And they don't play the same brand of football. But if you give them what they're looking for, or even similar to what they're looking for, because you can't afford option A, but you got option B lined up, they'll take you far. Like Liverpool and Klopp wanted Julian Brandt, and they said, nah, Salah's better. He gets Salah. Look what Salah's done since. So it's not to defend Mourinho. I know Mourinho's got his flaws, but I think if he goes into another club where he's given literally what he asked for and what he's looking for, and the players that he wants, because he recognizes that their professionalism and their attitude leads towards working in the Mourinho team and the Mourinho system, you'll see success. I find it funny that Newcastle fans are saying they don't want him. One, your football's not that attractive. In terms of, I know Eddie Howe doesn't play ugly football. He plays good football, but it's not outstanding. But they win, and they're doing well. And I don't think he should get sacked. But if Mourinho was to become available after Eddie Howe decides to leave one day or whatever, you have the finances, you have players with the right attitude, you have the facilities for Mourinho. You might not enjoy the football because it's not, Pep-like, I don't know, De Zerbi-like type football. But you will not care about brand of football when you start seeing your team do this and put medals around their neck, and you're in parades and you're clapping for the manager as well. West Ham fans did not enjoy Moyes' football, but when he won that Conference League, Stratford, you couldn't walk in Stratford.
Yeah, it's just what I'm saying.
Walk.
No, I hear you.
Moyes now. He's the Moyes. Like, come on, man. It's just what it is with football. You just got to pick your poison. But I think he just needs to be careful with his next move. But I think international football is next.
I said that. I was saying that to someone, and that's what I was going to ask you as well. So I think personally, there's two options. Well, three. Now you just said about Newcastle. I did sort of say that to someone as well in the week, and they said, but Eddie Howe's doing well. He won't get sacked. And I was like, well, I don't think Eddie Howe's been brought in or Eddie Howe has remained in that job for so long because they feel that he's going to be the one that's going to win them a Champions League or the Premier League. I don't think Eddie Howe can do that. I just don't. I think they need to step up a gear and bring someone else in that can do that. That could be a Mourinho. He's done it already in the Premier League, but I don't see that happening. I think Newcastle will stick with him for now, and I think Mourinho before then would have found another job, and I think that's going to be either the Portugal job, national job, or I wouldn't rule this out, although I got laughed down in the group chat, but the England job, I think he might look at that. The reason I say that, his family is still here. His family still live in London. They're settled here. They've been settled here whilst he's been here, there and everywhere. And I just think he'd be good at the job. I actually think he'd be good. There's a crop of players coming through now, this England team, that if the next manager who takes over Southgate after this next tournament isn't someone that knows like how to get the best out of the team, then I don't know where we go after that. But I feel that Mourinho could do that job for me personally.
England.
Who's you thinking of when you said international? Just Portugal?
Portugal first. Slightly Netherlands as well.
Okay.
But England, I thought about England a couple of years ago, but I thought that window might have closed. But then you said it again, and I'm thinking, even with the pool of players that they have and the talent they have, I think he would enjoy it. A lot of people forget he likes players with flair. He just needs his players to also be hardworking in terms of working with the squad and working on the pitch and do your defensive duties where necessary. He's not afraid to play. If he was in charge of England, a Foden in midfield or allow Bellingham to do his thing, going back and up and down, or anyone else. So yeah, you know what? No, that's actually a good shout.
Holland's not a bad shout though. Holland's not a bad shout at all.
Might be the time. It might be the time. But England, I think England would be the best move. Now that you said it, yeah. Mourinho for England.
We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Could you ever see him coming back? Because I got asked this question as well. Could you ever see him coming back to do a third stint at Chelsea?
Yes.
You could?
Yes. I didn't want to say it, but yes.
Boy.
I didn't want to say it because you have to give Pochettino time. But the way if Todd Bowley is able to continue to spend the week, because I know FIFA have panicked after the long contracts and everything, so they're trying to. The society is to restrict Chelsea. It's crazy, but if he's given the right stuff again at Chelsea, even if it doesn't end well, there's slightly one more Premier League in the horizon for him. One more, just one more.
I don't know if
Chelsea's the only club I can see it happening.
No, I hear that. Club. I hear that because there is a squad there. There is a squad. It needs an efficient manager for me. My only thing is the owners. I don't think he could work with his owners and people that are below the owners. I don't think he'd work with them. I don't think he'd last 6 months.
Oh, man.
Just because the owners are the ones currently. The only thing with the owners now is they want someone in. That's why look at the pattern already. Graham Potter, yes man. Pochettino, yes man. Mourinho ain't no yes man. If you don't want a certain player, he's letting you know, and he's gonna let you know on the pitch as well. If you buy him a player that he doesn't want, he ain't playing them. It's just that's the Mourinho way, and I just don't see that. I don't see that kind of happening with us. I'd love it. I'd love it to happen, but I'd also like Thomas Tuchel to come back and finish off his job there, because I feel like he had kind of something else he could have done at the club as well. But I think them two ships have sailed in separate directions as well. But yeah, man, Mourinho back to Tottenham to Chelsea is a good shout. It's a good shout.
Would you be okay with it? That's the question.
Do you know what? I don't think I would. This is what I mean. I don't think I would, because I think for me now, I want some longevity. I don't want someone to come in and just win a Premier League title and then get sacked or they leave because they fell out with the owners. I want someone that's going to be here for like 5 years, 6 years, and actually do a project. Not like, oh, we're trying to do a project, but we haven't really got the right man in. We haven't got this play. I want someone to actually do the project properly and do from start to end. So I want someone here for like the 5, 6, 7 years, like a Pep. I want someone who's going to be in for the whole duration and watch us win Premier Leagues, watch us win the Champions League. And do you know what I mean? Not like swap and change. Because if you get Mourinho back in, the clock's ticking before he's even sat down and done his first press conference. Like, it's ticking already. Like, he's going to leave 2 years from now. He's going to be leaving. He's going to be tearful leaving Cobham. Do you know what I mean? It's going to happen. So, I don't think I nostalgically, yeah, I'd love it to happen. But like, seriously, I don't think I'd want to see that happen for him as well, man. Just come back and retire, man. Come and live in London, go shop in Harrods, do all them things there, and just enjoy your life, man.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
that's a long way there, man. But let's move on. Let's move to the African Cup of Nations, which started last Saturday. It started, I think. Some interesting games already. I have to admit that I've been missing quite a lot of them because I always forget the 2:00 one. It's always one in mid-afternoon. I forget that one. That's the one that's the prime one for me where I can watch it uninterrupted as well. So I always forget to watch that one. But talk to me, because it's looking a bit mad already. A couple of shock results, man. Talk to me.
Unfortunately for me, my country's one of them that was part of the no, the Africa Cup of Nations is two things for me. One, it's a showcase of African football, of course.
Yeah.
But two, at times, unfortunately, it can be a bit of a comedy show. But that's not only because of the football. So there was a big issue first with the coverage because no one was really buying the rights. Sky Sports eventually said, we'll take it, and even their coverage. It's funny because they wouldn't dare lose audio or have no commentary for the first 15 minutes of a game. Finding that quite disrespectful.
They did it on the game that I watched the other week, or one of the ones. I can't remember what game it was, and I think it was Senegal. It was Senegal the other day.
Yes,
Senegal.
They did that.
And I was watching. I was thought, no, you're not taking the piss here. Like, what's going on? It was about 15 minutes.
There's no respect, man.
Yeah, man. No, I hear that. No
respect. But in terms of shock results, let's get out of the way. See Ghana, yeah. Thing is, yeah, it's funny because when you're watching as the countryman, you're thinking to yourself, surely you're not going to do that today. Not today, because I know they have it in abundance that they can go out there and just embarrassment. I know it, and they did it in full effect. I was just watching. I was like, to the point where I was like, this is normal. This is what it is. But I think what Ghanaian fans, and I think a lot of football fans, who obviously because Ghana are a recognized African powerhouse, and you still look at some of the players, Jordan IFC still playing Premier League.
Yeah,
Inaki Williams, Stilamena is good. The Bournemouth boy, what's his name? Semenyo.
Yeah, he's still there as well.
He's still there. And they got good players as well. Salisu's not bad. Jiku, that Fenerbahce now, he's not bad. But these guys also never turn it on for Ghana. They just don't. And the performance just was no surprise. So I think it's time that people start recognizing that Ghana are not next to Morocco. They're not next to Senegal. They're not next to Ivory Coast. I was going to say Egypt, but that's a Salah only kind of show at the moment.
Of course.
Obviously, they made it to the last World Cup, but they did okay. But no Salah, no joy. I was going to say Nigeria, but even Nigeria, with all the sort of attacking talent they have with Osimhen and Boniface and Iwobi and so on, they can't get it together either.
They drew their first game 1-1, I think, on the Saturday as well. After the opening game.
Yeah, you could argue they should have won the game because they had the chances, but at the end of the day, the result what counts. It seems that they can't get it together either. So, not that they're not a powerhouse anymore, but maybe we need to start thinking maybe these guys are not the teams that we think they are. So, shout out Namibia though. Big result against Tunisia. Yeah, massive. Interesting game tonight.
Egypt, Ghana.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Give me your thoughts, man. Come on, you can't shy away from this one, man.
It's very annoying because Salah dunks on my club and he's about to dunk on my country.
That man said I can't get away from him.
I can't get away from this guy, man. But look, I hope that they turn it up today. Egypt are a good side. They're not the Egypt of yesteryear with Zaki and there's one guy, I forgot his name, man. He was a superstar for them though. Abu Trika. That's the guy's name. They're not that team anymore. Obviously, they've got the star right now in Mohamed Salah, but the rest of the squad is average at best, in my opinion. You got to try and attack them and go for the win. You just got no choice, especially after a poor result against Cape Verde as well. So
it's a big game, man. No, it's a big game.
It's a big game, man. I want to try and be a nice countryman and go 2-1 for my country, but inside here, yeah, man, I'm seeing a Salah hat-trick and I don't like it. So who knows?
It's a tough one because I think as well, obviously you don't want that. I think obviously Egypt are on 1 point at the moment. Ghana haven't got any points at the moment. So you want to kind of make sure that even a draw, I know it sounds mad, but even a draw at this stage, you want to take that a little bit. Obviously you want to win. You want to win. You want to win every game. Do you know what I mean? But if you could get the draw, I think it don't look that bad in the group then. Do you know what I mean? I think if you got to go out for the 3 points, but if you can get a draw, and I agree with you as well. Egypt, I remember watching Egypt's, even at the last AFCON as well, African Cup of Nations. I thought then that they're gettable. You can get at them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can get at them, and you're right, the Salah show, which is what it is. But I'm looking forward to that game. I think that's 8 p.m. tonight. Is it 8 p.m.? Have I got that right?
Yeah, it's right.
8 p.m. tonight.
Ivory Coast, Nigeria is at 5.
5, yeah. Which I'm looking forward to that. That'd be a good one.
That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a very good game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. What, just in terms of the overall tournament, who are you thinking can go all the way and win the tournament?
I've got Senegal and Morocco as my winners.
Okay.
Yeah.
For any particular reason, or just because you feel that they got the strongest teams
strongest teams, but not only the strongest teams, they look like the most cohesive units out there. They go out there and you can see a team that's ready to go out there and win a game. They're not easy to penetrate. They create chances. They have the midfield locking off other midfields. It's obviously very early. It's game 1, but you can tell when someone's on there and when someone's just not. And those two look like they're on serious business this time. So I'll go for those two as my winners.
Just before we go over to back to the Premier League, Ghana with Brighton's previous manager, Super Chris. What's your thoughts on that? Did that shock you as well? Did that kind of like when he was appointed, and how do you think he's done even before the AFCON? In terms of for Ghana as well, do you feel that he is the right man to try and lead Ghana forward?
He should have been appointed for the World Cup.
Yeah.
He was appointed as technical director, and I found that confusing. Again, not because he's had more English football experience or nothing like that. I just think he's the most capable of getting the best out of the squad. But what he has to deal with that I don't think he also recognized is the Ghana FA politics that's involved.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just going to keep it a big buck. Andre Ayew should not still be part of the squad. And I know why he is, but he shouldn't. Your captain shouldn't be a bench player. He shouldn't be leading your line and being the face of the country still, and being all the photos and the interviews to only be the guy that's on the bench. It's not working.
You think someone else should be taking over that? Someone should have passed that baton over to. He should have passed that baton to someone else.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? The players that you want to pass the baton on to are not doing the job. So that's also the other issue. But I'd rather we didn't have a face per se. We just had a squad of players out ready to go out there and ball out. But he's going to deal with it. He's going to let us deal with a lot. We'll see after AFCON if he's still here. That's what I was trying to get to. I think I was trying to say, like, do you feel that even after this, he's going to be able to sustain the job and carry on? I think he will personally, but then do you think that on, like, say, for instance, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a team, my team quickly, who might get say Everton. Yeah. Imagine Everton get rid of Sean Dyche or something like that. Do you feel that he might be tempted if they ring him, say, "I'll come to Merseyside and manage Everton"? Do you feel that he would possibly think, "Do you know what? I can't do this dual management thing. I can't do the two. I got to leave my national role to go and manage"? Do you reckon a club might come in eventually and knock the door and say, "Come, Chris, man, come and manage us"? Yeah, I think that could happen. If Everton or another Premier League club came in for him, I think he'd run. And personally, I would do the same if I was the manager. I'll be very real. But I think if he does leave, I think his next role will probably be in like an America.
You reckon? Something. Yeah.
Yeah, just because
Saudi thing.
Yeah, it's not fair on him. But I think when he was a manager here, he didn't do a bad job. I think he actually did well. But
he got sacked at the wrong time. Massively.
Yeah, and I think that tarnished his reputation a little bit, which is unfair to him.
Do you think that's because of the obvious thing though? Like because of the colour of his skin? Like we can't even beat around the room with that one. But like
that's one of it, because you have a lot of white managers who have had an horror show.
Lampard, Gerrard, the man are picking up big jobs still.
Those two, exactly. When you said to me that Gerrard got a new contract, I was very confused because
I heard he's getting a sack.
Yeah, he went 2 months without a win.
Yeah.
Like his team wasn't playing well. He wasn't doing anything with the squad. So I thought maybe he wouldn't survive. But maybe things have picked up a little bit and they're saying, let's extend it. So who knows? But regardless, yeah, we've had a lot of managers who have been poor and just continue to get jobs. Paul Ince was great for MK Dons, went to Blackburn, horror show. I think we all knew that's going to be a bad move anyway. But the fact that he has not even, I mean, I don't know if he's offered anything, but the fact we haven't seen him back in the management since, I feel like he's probably been blackballed a little bit. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Do you know who I want to see get blackballed though? Like this, I need to see this. Troy Deeney. He needs to get blackballed. He needs to get blackballed completely.
Yeah. Done. Yeah.
Did you see his press conference the other day where he's like,
so embarrassed by him. I was so embarrassed.
It's embarrassing. Like, I don't think people realize, like, even at that level, like, okay, yeah, what Forest Green, are they second division or wherever they are? I think they're second.
The League Two.
League Two, yeah. So I think they're League Two. Even to be speaking in public like that, do you know how embarrassing that? Like and then his apology was like, "Oh, I apologize for doing all that in public. I don't apologize for what I said because I should have done it in the dressing room." And it's like, but it's too late now because the damage is done and it's all out there. We've all heard you say it. Like, he's one guy that has got the ego of Pep and the ability of, I'm not going to try and embarrass someone, but the ability of Troy Deeney, literally. Do you know what I mean? Like, he won't last long. He won't last long.
It's cheeky. And I was so annoyed by it because you've gone out there and you can say, I apologize for doing that in public, but I don't apologize for what you said. So you don't even feel an ounce of, I don't know,
remorse, man. Or not even remorse, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
you've embarrassed the player. You said in public that you said to him that you were, a couple of months ago, you were a spot kick away from playing in the Premier League, and now you wouldn't even make it in the national. Like, what is that?
That's crazy.
You can't say that to players. I'm sorry, you can't do that. No, you cannot do that. And for people that players like him, and he's not in the same stratosphere, by the way, as what's his punk's name, Joey Barton. But
he's there, though. He's there.
Yeah, it's characters like that we don't need in the game. I'm not saying. I'm not even part of the generation of, oh, you must hug a player, and I'm not saying that. But there's a way of doing things. Even the hardest of managers would sort of protect their players in public.
Yeah, come on, man.
To an extent, but tell them what they thought away from it. Hell, if you want to tell him that away from the camera's fine, have your butt up. He doesn't play for the club for a bit, then he gets his move. So be it. But you cannot go in public and say these things, apologize for saying it to us, but not apologize to him. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, quite frankly, if I was Forest Green, and actually they're embarrassing as well because they posted the video on their socials.
Yeah, exactly my point, man. So I think they wanted that for the reaction, though. They wanted it, one, for the reaction, and two, I think they kind of thought, well, he said it, so we've got to put something out from the gaffer.
Then you don't put it out. If I'm double gal.
Yeah, of course.
In my contract, don't even pay me. Just let me go. Just let me go. It's not worth it.
But you see the one thing as well that with managers like that is when they throw players under the bus and they're not holding themselves accountable for the mistakes that the club are making, the team are making. All he said was, yeah, it's partly my fault because I picked the team. But no, it's the things you do on a day-to-day training ground as well. Like your coaching staff, them as well. They got to be held accountable. It's the fact that you're coming out. If you're talking like that in public, I can only imagine what you're saying to the boys in the changing room and on the training ground. It is probably just vibes with them. That's why they're not playing well, because you think you're one of the players still. Do you know what I mean? And you're running there thinking, I ain't got time for him, man. Honestly, he's the one person that he will set black people back 10 years, 20 years when it comes to managers' jobs. Because when people see things like that, they probably think, this is why we don't employ them. That's it. They think, why am I going to employ someone like him when that's why he's talking? And he's at League 2. He's not even managed at, like, come on, man. Go and do your badges and work your way up properly like everyone else does and give everyone a fair run of the crack of the whip, man. Because speaking like that ain't the one, man. It ain't the one. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on him now. But let's talk about the Premier League. Obviously, it's been a bit mad because obviously they're doing this winter break. Got like, you know, some teams are playing now. Some players we're not playing this weekend. Chelsea. I don't think United obviously aren't playing. I think Liverpool, Arsenal will play this weekend now. So far this season, because it's been an up and down season. You think about some of the performances, some of the players. Obviously Kevin De Bruyne's been out. You know, Salah's been his usual self. But is there 3 players that you could say And they don't have to be like the obvious ones, like the Salahs. It could just be someone. I've got a couple in my head already, but is there 3 players that have impressed you this season, regardless of where their team are? Their team could be 20th in the league, but individually as a player, is there 3 that have impressed you that you thought, you know what, I wish, hopefully one day they go to a better team and they do well?
Oh, in that case, I'll leave Salah out because I think Salah.
You can put him in if you want. You can put him in. I'm just saying, I ain't got him in there.
I mean, yeah, he would be top 3 just because goals and assists, he's on top, his performances are good. But if we're talking about maybe leaving obvious names and just giving due to players that don't really get their due, the first one I would mention is Paqueta.
Mm-hmm.
I think Paqueta has been so instrumental as to how Kudus and Bowen have been getting goals. And obviously Kudus is new to the league, so he would be an obvious shout as well because he's starting like a house on fire. But Paqueta, for me, is one of the few creators in the Premier League that's still not getting his due. I think it kind of surprised people when Man City wanted him. Now you're seeing it. Now you're really seeing why Man City wanted him to become a top player. Number 2, I will probably actually go for Anthony Gordon.
Okay.
Because I didn't think he would be as efficient as he's been for Newcastle. And I think people are now starting to give him respect. If I'm being honest, at Everton, I wasn't really impressed by him to that level. So when the fee came across and we were talking about how much it costs for Newcastle, I was thinking, no, this is crazy. But looking at what he's done and how he performs, key man, good. And the third one will be Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
You mentioned him earlier, and when you said his name, it hit me like a bolt of lightning. I was like, yo, you know what? He's someone that I think, including myself, 98% had written off. He's done. It didn't work in England. It didn't work in France. You know, maybe he goes to Saudi or US. Luton, maybe a decent run. No, he's balled out at Luton. He's looking like he's found himself again. He's enjoying his football. He's confident. I'm very, very happy with how he's doing. Very happy. So yeah, he deserves praise, man.
Yeah. There's 3 that I would have had in contention 100% because I think it's easy to pick off like Alisson, Edison, Haaland, Salah. You could just pick them and say, yeah, they're the 3. But there's players out there for me, like my 3 so far that I've got is Jared Branthwaite from Everton.
Oh yeah.
I think he'll go on to be one of the best centre backs. I think best defenders. I've watched him at youth level when he was in Everton under 21s. And I remember I was watching him thinking he should not be playing against Sheffield United under 21s, the game that I was at. And he should have got, I don't know if he did. I can't remember, did he get a loan move? I feel like he went on loan somewhere, but I can't remember where it was. I can't remember where he went on loan. I feel like it was like PSV or somewhere. I might have made that up. But anyway, he needs to be consistently in that Everton team. And I think he'll get a move away from Everton in a couple of years, especially if Everton, hopefully they don't, but if Everton go down, there's going to be a lot of clubs queuing up for him because I think he just knows where to be. He can read the game very, very well. Very young, very, very young. I think he's only 21, I think, or 2021. So, he's got years ahead of him. So I like him. I think there was talk about him going to United, actually. I feel like I've read that somewhere, I feel like...
Really take him. I would absolutely take him.
I'm sure I read that. Yeah, he's on my list as well. My other one I had was Curtis Jones.
Sorry. One of the most baffling things I've just seen. On the shed in my garden, there are 3 foxes going to war. I don't understand what's going on here.
You do live in London, so foxes is.
I know, but they're trying to bite each other to death. This is crazy. Sorry, continue.
Listen. You know what? Digresses slightly, yeah, but that's why I stopped going for runs in the morning. You know the times foxes have jumped out, yeah. Listen, I'm not afraid of many things, but when you see a fox, nah, that's not me.
I used to go for walks every morning from like 6 to 7, and then before I go to the gym. and there's a school, and they have a huge park. I don't know what they use it for. Got a big park that I hardly see being used. I'm walking, and then my music stops, and it's like the music stopped at the right time. I hear ruffling. I'm like, okay, no, that's what I'm saying. Right. I start walking on the road. I'm like, if a car comes, I'm just going
down at it.
Let me walk around you. Did you know I'm walking, take a couple of steps, I turn back, I see 3 foxes, and they're just looking at me. I said, no.
So I'm staying, man.
Last time.
Yeah, it's happened to me before, man. So that's why I don't. You see, when it's sunny in the daytime and it's like in the summertime and the sun's peaking at like 6 a.m, yeah, I'll go for a run. You see these times now, you're not catching me on the roads because it's happened to me before. It's happened to me too many times. And foxes don't care as well. They're not like dogs where they shy away from you. Now they're coming for you. They'll come for you. So nah, man. But yeah, Curtis Jones is my next one. Sorry, jumping back in, Curtis Jones. I like the look of him. I think he's improved as well, season by season. He's getting more game time now as well. And I just think he's one of those players that he can change games, like for Liverpool. Like a couple of years ago, I would have said, he needs to add goals to his game because he was doing very well. And I think I think him, and I think it's helped that Trent's moved into that new role as well. And then it gives like Slobberslide, McAllister, who's now back in the team as well. It gives them that midfield comfort that he's got behind him as well. If he plays a bit further afield, up the field as well. So I like Curtis Jones, man. I like him. For me, there's something about him that I think he's just, when he gets the ball, he drives forward with it. His intentions to attack. He's not looking to, like one of the things with Jordan Henderson, he loved to slow the game down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that midfield, he was always like getting the ball, slowing it down. Curtis Jones is just total opposite of that. He wants to get the ball forward and drive forward and take his opportunities. And I think him, again, if Liverpool can keep him, if they don't want to keep him, then I think he's got another big move in him somewhere else because he's that kind of level for me anyway. Last one might be a bit biased. It might be. But I'm gonna have to go for Cole Palmer in it because I feel that I feel he's kind of justifying his price tag at the moment, like 46 million, I think it was. He's justifying it now. I'm not saying he's still got to do that for the rest of the season. He's still got to be able to show us that he can do that for a consistent period of time. But I feel that, and I know he's scoring penalties. He's scoring penalties. But I think even without the goals, I think some of the things I'm seeing him do on and off the ball, again, very much like Curtis Jones. I think he's one of those players that when he's not in that team, you miss him. And when Liverpool don't have Curtis Jones, it is a big miss for them now. They got to be honest with that. He's a good player. He's a good enough player to be missed. So I think we'd be a totally different situation. I know we're still 9th, I think, in the league, but we'd be in a totally different. We'd be with Nottingham Forest and Everton had we not got Cole Palmer in that team. So I have to put him in there. Maybe it's a bit biased. There are other players that I would have put in there. I like Ollie Watkins. I like Leon Bailey for Villa. I'm trying to think who else would I have had in there. I like Rico Lewis, actually. He's not playing as much football, but when he does play, I do like him. But there's loads of other players I could have put, but those are my 3 that when I watch them, I think, even when their team doesn't play well, they still have a very relatively good game. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's where I was kind of coming from.
I'll just quickly compliment that because I think going to Chelsea was the best move for him. I didn't want him to have the same issue that Foden has. Everyone knows Foden's great. Everyone knows it. Yeah. But when you hear people trying to do comparisons with Saka and stuff, the big argument is Saka is a permanent star at Arsenal, whereas Foden's in and out. There's some place where wing plays. But the difference is at City, they always rotate. Pep just rotate sometimes just to rotate. Yeah, 100%. Whereas at Arsenal and now at Chelsea, when you're a young player like that and there's starting berth available, you become that guy. You are the guy and you're able to showcase your ability. I don't think we see this much Cole Palmer if he stays at City. So it's good for him and he's thriving. And Pochettino is good with young players as well. So because he's enjoying his football. So yeah, man. He's supporting Man United as well. So if he was to come to Man United one day, that'd be great. That was mad. When I found that out, I think I found that out. What day did I find that out? I think it was like the derby or something. I can't remember what game it was. There was a game, I think it was a United derby, and they had Rashford with H on there, and they were talking about something, and it came out, I think, that he supports, Palmer supports United. I was like, what? How did that even happen?
So yeah, man. But I think all his family are United fans as well, or something like that, or a lot of them are United fans. So yeah, he's a Chelsea man. Anyway, he's got to stay at Chelsea for a hot minute. But before we wrap up as well, because I know you wanted to talk about this as well. So very quickly, news came out around the sort of fake bid or the masked bid, if you want to call it that, failed bid from the Qataris for Manchester United. Some details I think have come out recently to say that the documentation that they were submitting wasn't doctored, but it wasn't showing a true reflection of what they were trying to present as their dossier or their documents for the proposals. But what's your take on all of that? Obviously, Jim Ratcliffe is now, by what I think is now, part of the ownership of United. He owns a fair proportion of it. But what's your thoughts on Ratcliffe, the Qataris with their failed bid, the news that's coming out, man? What's your thoughts on all of that?
I mean, so Jim Ratcliffe, so far, it looks like he's got the right ideas for the club. I think he's trying to get rid of the players that don't belong. He's trying to work out the wages a little bit by selling or trying to renegotiate contracts. We've heard ideas that are legitimate ideas, not just rumors, about buying out golf parks and stuff and reinventing it into a big training complex. Obviously, if you go to play golf or watch golf, you can see that their pitches are huge. So a lot of space there. So that's very good, very inventive, very smart. He wants to include stadium. So all of this is very good. And ideas for players, pinpointing what kind of players that the squad needs. This is also with or without Ten Hag if he's to stay or go. So good forward thinking. The Qataris essentially have fooled a lot of us, including myself, because I was definitely on this show saying I need the Qataris in my life. But the SEC files came out. SEC standing for Security and Exchange Commission.
Yeah.
So if you are brokering any big deals, public companies, wherever, you always have to make regular filings to show what's going on. Obviously, the Glazers were doing that in negotiation with the two parties. And it came out that essentially the Qataris were trying to undercut with their payments. They were paying what the Glazers wanted, but their Class A shares, which are owned by other shareholders who, need to get their payout as well if you're buying the whole club, they were getting undercut by like $5 per share, which is just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. That's not good business. So even if the Glazers said yes, other people would have said no. So the Glazers actually don't look bad in this. They look like they wanted to sell. That's why they've agreed this deal with this long-term deal with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Take some now, take the rest later. It works out. That's great. So it makes sense. And also the one key thing, I don't know if they did it on purpose or I don't know if they were just trying to lie to themselves. The Qataris did not show proof of funds once.
See, that's it.
That's the biggest issue there. Which now makes me think the third original member of free midfield, Darren used to say in our main night group chat, has anyone ever seen Sheikh Jassim before? Is he real?
Do you know what? It's true that this is something that I think I've heard before as well. Is he even real? Is he even real?
Who knows?
Imagine that. Imagine that. AI. Imagine it's all AI and he's just imagine no, because you listen, anything is anything in this world right now. So imagine it's just all it could be AI. It could be.
They could have let a computer just talk to her the whole time because it seems that no one ever even met him. So
myth.
Who knows? Either way, he's well. In the words of Kanye West, I guess we'll never know. So
yeah. It's crazy.
However, I will say this though: it will be Man United's luck if these guys go and buy a Tottenham or West Ham because they were linked with them as well. And if that happens, I am going to be fuming. But that's it.
I think Tottenham more than West Ham. I think the Tottenham model seems a bit better. And the stadium. I mean, I know West Ham got the stadiums. I mean, I don't know if it's not the best stadium to play football in at West Ham. Just in terms of the away end, anyway. But Tottenham Stadium's state of the art, man. Like it's the best stadium probably in the world, or one of the best stadiums in the world. So, United are all right, man. You got rid of Sancho now. You're calm. You know what I mean?
we'll talk about that another time. Trust me. I've got to say about that. I know time's limited.
Yeah. You're right. But anyone who's been listening, thank you for listening to this episode 13. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go and like the videos. Go back and listen to all the previous audios as well. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section as well about top 3 Premier League players, all the other things we discussed on this episode. And we'll be back next week, man. Kojo, as always, thank you very much. Pleasure.
Thank you.
And we'll be back, man, next week, man. Keep warm, man. Keep warm.